What's going on, everyone? It's T30 Drifts, and welcome back to Forza Motorsport. I want to go ahead and thank everyone for all of the support on the previous videos. It's been really awesome playing this game, recording, and uploading that to share with you guys. And I'm glad that you're enjoying it. So please continue to hit the like button, continue to hit the subscribe. I have been working on more videos and just trying to get more content out. So definitely make sure that you hit the bell so that you do not miss my next uploads. But anyways, I have a really interesting race to share with you guys today. It was a roller coaster of emotions. There were ups, there were downs. It was all around. But I thought it was pretty entertaining, so I wanted to share it with you. Now, this circuit is very, very fast, very treacherous. I was hesitant to even give it a try, but I decided to load up and see what I could do. Now, there were a number of different options to choose from. Knowing this track from the previous motorsport games, I wanted to go with the top speed build, something that was the fastest. So I went with the 2003 Bentley number 7 Team Bentley Speed 8. That is quite a mouthful, but it is the car with the highest top speed. Knowing the back straight is huge on this track. This one makes the most sense. So our main goal here is really just to get a feel for the course. So we're going right into this practice round. Car is very twitchy, very alive. That was completely my fault. I definitely got in the way, so I apologize for that. I did forget that I wasn't ghosted, so we're still getting used to this game. So let's just get started. We are a little bit past the start-stop line, headed towards the back straight, and let's just see what we can do here. 4th gear, going up into 5th gear, going up into 6th gear. And it was at this moment that I realized there is no 7th gear, so it looks like we are stuck to 6 gears, which is okay. Topping out at about 209 miles per hour there. First chicane. Actually not terrible for a first lap practice run. I'm quite happy with that, as we did not go barreling into a wall. I will not make any promises for later in the video. But so far so good. So I'm going to continue down, coming up onto another chicane here towards the left side. Just trying to get a feel for where do I need to brake. This car brakes very well, grips up very well, a lot of downforce, but we are going to run it wide there. And let's see, no penalty for that, so not too bad, but that did dirty our lap. That's fine for now, but we do not want to do that in qualifying. Now here I'm noticing that a tiny input creates a huge reaction because we're going so quick. But let's go into this very sharp, near 90-degree right-hander, and we slide off into the dirt trap. Now, I was waiting to rejoin. That's racing etiquette, folks. But the person behind me made the same mistake. So we're going to carry on. Looks like they went back to lobby or restarted their lap. I'm just going to go ahead and continue driving this. And again, it's very twitchy. It's very hard to make small inputs on the controller. But I will have a tip for you guys coming soon regarding that. So, barreling into the wall. Again, this is fine in the practice. This is not real life. My car is fine, but we do not want to do that in the actual race. Again, running a little bit wide here on this next right-hander, but it's our very first lap, so I think that we're okay. We're going to keep continuing to try to bring it home, and that's really what my goal is in this session. Is not necessarily to win the race. I'm wanting a podium here, but you know, at the end of the day, this track is insane. So I really just want to survive this. Now, we will see how that goes a little bit later in the video. Surviving this track is, well, it's a mission. Racing it and winning is one thing. Surviving is a completely other thing. So coming up here towards the start finish line, actually going pretty well through that first chicane, running too fast into that second chicane. We had to cut it, which gives us a 1 second penalty, but let's consider this to be our first practice lap around Le Mans. Now coming into this left-hander here. This driver is very slow. Luckily, they did have good track etiquette that kept it off to the right side. So I do appreciate that. Thank you, whoever you are. And at this point in our practice, we are continuing to try to keep it on the track. That's the number one goal, is keep it on the track. But let's see if we can make any sort of improvement from the last lap. Well, up into 6th gear, we're already getting green sectors. And we are looking for this first chicane off to the right side. I apologize, I do not know the names of these, but I'm going to brake right on that sector start. Running this chicane very, very safe. No curbage going on. But that is something that we'll work to perfect. Another green sector closed right there. And we're going to carry it on down to the next chicane, which will move towards the left. And let's see if we can get a little bit more curbage, carry a little bit more speed through here. Very good on that first turn, a little bit wide. We had to bring it right down and losing it right there as we go towards the left. So at this point, I think if I can just put down any time, then I'm going to have a decent standing in the quali and on the grid. So we go straight into our practice session. This time, we do not cut the final chicane going towards the front straight. And we are on our first qualifying lap. So now we are very much pushing. I was a little bit disappointed that my car wasn't repaired, but that is okay. It's just a little bit ugly to look at, which is slightly painful, but let's see if our racing is less painful to look at. So, here we are coming into this left. Just taking a very safe line. I do think that the moral of this race was, once again, as we talked about in the previous video, was consistency. And by that, I do not mean getting within, 1 second or half of a second in your lap times. I'm talking about keeping it on the track and surviving each lap. That is going to be the most critical thing in this race. So let's just try to survive. All right, coming into this chicane on the right side, pretty wide, a little bit narrower. We definitely carried a bit more speed through there. So I would consider that a good chicane. We did pretty well. It was feeling good. The car was feeling good. But we are back onto full tires. Although it looks like, no, I guess our fuel is the same amount. So, all right, this left-hander chicane, just trying to get my braking points down. You do not want to be constantly full brakes, full gas. You need to coast in this game if you want to keep a lot of speed. That just helps the balance of your car level out, so you don't have too much weight moving forward or transferring forward, or too much weight transferring backward. That's how you keep a better balance. So let's go into this 90-degree right-hander here. Can we slow it down? We can. And that's a pretty good corner. That is definitely not the fastest that you can take that corner, but for what it is, that is a excellent corner. If you can do that every single time, other people will run off. Now again, it's very hard to make those slight adjustments when you're going down this back straight at 200 miles per hour. So you will see it twitching around quite a bit. This car is a handful. It's very much a handful to drive and control. But it was also very rewarding to drive this car. It grips up amazingly. There's so much downforce. We almost run it wide on this next 90-degree right-hander. But ultimately, we kept it within the lines. So let's just see what we can do into this sort of final sector. This is back, I don't really know what you'd call it. This back sector, very curvy, a lot of sweeping corners. Really, really fun to link this up, actually. But so far, we're running a bit slow. But again, I am not concerned about my overall speed on these corners. What I'm concerned about is keeping it on the track. As I said in the previous video, a lot of times when you're learning these tracks or you're learning this game, you want to drive slower in order to drive faster. And this race will be a perfect example of that. Now we're taking these chicanes very well. That's the best that we've gone through those. And so I'm excited to see my quali. And we got 3:38 and 6/10. So far that puts us at number 2 out of 21 players, which I was actually extremely happy about. We're starting our second lap and running a little bit wide here again, but as I've said numerous times, I'm just a broken record right now. We just need to keep it on the track. And that goes to show, if you can put down a clean lap, then you'll be good. I learned this from Forza Motorsport 7, where there was not a qualifying. In order to place on the grid, what you would have to do is place the fastest clean lap in the previous race. So I learned that by completing clean laps, I would get the best pole position, or not pole position, grid position in the next race. So that applies once again in this game, is if you keep it on the track, then you can do really well. Well, let's check out this first chicane here. We did jump the curb a little bit on the first portion, and then just taking it pretty conservative through the last part. And a guy ghosted here. We're going to go right through him. I was just hoping that he would not come out of the pause menu. So let's see. Going into this chicane, left hand, run the curb slightly, just barely touching the curb, going over on the right, and we probably carried just a tiny bit too much speed through there. Overall, it was a very good chicane. As you did see, we were up about 3.5 tenths of a second, so we are up on this qualifying time. I'm just trying to improve about 1 second in order to take pole position in this qualifier. So let's see if we can do that. We did run slightly wide here, but nothing too critical. Right there, we are up 2.7 tenths, so almost 3 tenths of a second. So we are doing all right. I do want to gain just 1 more second, and I can take the pole position on the grid. That's what I'm going for here. Flying through these straights, and let's see if we can carry the speed on these corners. Left-hander going in, pretty solid. Probably could have carried a tiny bit more speed, but we got a 90-degree right. And once again, those 90-degree rights are absolutely brutal. Very, very difficult to get right. But as you will see later in the video, those turns take a lot of people out. So I'm just happy to be consistently staying on the track, not dirtying this lap. Now this final sector, we start off very, very solid here, running out, narrow out to the edge of the track, using as much of the track as we can without being twitchy, and just gluing ourselves right onto that racing line as much as possible. We did barely run wide there. Luckily, we did not get a penalty for that. And we're up 1.4 seconds here, so can we bring it home? We could get the pole position. Let's see what we can do. Final chicane. We did not run enough curb, and you can see that our time 1.8. So we actually did really, really well on there. For some reason, we're in 6th in the quali, but when we pause, it shows number 2. So I do not know what was going on with the quali. There's no point in me completing the last lap. My tires are worn. And there's only 2.5 minutes left, so I could not complete another lap if I wanted to. So I'm just going to go into the pits, and I'm thinking about my strategy here. What do I want to do? I go ahead and look at the event standings, which shows me that it is a 4-lap race. I do want to use as little fuel as possible while I'm in the actual race, but I start to think that because we only have 6 gears, we're revving out for so long on those back straights that we might want a little bit more fuel. I'm also thinking about which tires I want to go with. Do I want to go with the mediums, and then I will definitely need to make a pit stop? Or do I want to try to go with the hards and see if I can run the entire race? I don't feel like I can do that, but I'm also considering soft tires. Now, my mediums lasted for 2 laps. Race is 4 laps. If I go with softs, then I can maybe pull 2 laps, go pit, and do another 2 laps, and that could give me a big advantage. I'm just not very sure what my strategy is here, and this was probably my biggest worry, or one of them, as I'm waiting this last minute for the race to start. What is my strategy going to be? How am I going to pull this off? So let's see what happens. This should be a good race. I'm very excited for this race, but quite nervous. Looks like we finished number 3 in qualifying. It's Chilsea up on pole position and Mixer in 2nd position. All right, here we go. Quite a few drivers in this lobby, and this is something I love to see. Luckily, nobody was started on that final chicane. Now, here we go. Number 3. Got 2 cars ahead, 1 to the side. And we're off here. Let's see what we can do. This is very intimidating with all these drivers in the back. We've got Chilsea in front of us. Cholin now 1, 2, 3, and it looks like everybody runs a little bit wide. This guy in the red vehicle behind me sort of gave me a little bit of a dive bomb. We've got Chilsea doing some crazy teleportation. I don't know if that is allowed in this race, but we are going to drive it a little bit dirty at the beginning, just over the track limits, just to try to stay safe and stay away from other drivers. I noticed that other drivers are already racking up huge penalties, so I don't mind a half second, or even 1 second or so, just because I know that it's going to be a crazy hectic race. Now, I'm trying to break the toe here. We do have 2 drivers coming up behind very quickly, and I'm going to attempt to push them out wide and then take the corner on the inside. Of course, that sets my line off. I get a pretty rough line through there, but we ended up holding the position, and not Dubsies behind me is held at bay for now. No penalties, 0.9 seconds behind, while I have a 0.5 penalty. So coming up onto this left-hand chicane, brake right on those shadows, turn in, run more of the curve. I noticed that was something that I needed to do more, although we did end up taking it too wide on the exit of that chicane and adding another 0.8 of a second to our penalties. We are now sitting at 1.3 seconds of penalties, with the leaders at 0 for Chilsea and 0.1 for Mixer. Now, I do see these guys run a bit wide, so I'm going to go ahead and try to take off, and I made contact. Oh gosh, that was brutal. I am so sorry about that. But let's just go back to that clip really quick, and let's see, what should we have done here? So, we're coming around the corner here. They're both off, and Chilsea is rejoining, as you can see right here. It looks like Chilsea is maybe attempting to go over to the right-hand side. Unfortunately, it just was not enough. So you tell me Do I deserve to go to jail for this? Do I deserve jail time or no? You tell me in the comments down below. It was not intentional. Anyways, let's keep it going here because that's not the only interesting thing that kicks off on this back straight. I did go ahead and give him a sorry because I am, but we will see. We run a bit wide here. Oh my goodness, and we completely lose control, twitching all over the place, spinning out. Thankfully, coming right the way back around. Oh gosh, and look at that, from first to 10th. Terrible. A little bit of contact there. We did make up a position right here. We got a warning for some avoidable contact. Unfortunately, we make another contact with Cholin 123. No penalty once again. But I think our penalty was spinning out like a madman. So not Dubsy is now in the lead, and we've got about 7 seconds to make up. So this is going to be interesting. I was really, that was what I was trying to avoid, which sometimes it's unavoidable. I mean, these cars are so quick, so much power, so much downforce and tire. Thank you, Sebi XP, for hitting me and screwing up my driving line, so I appreciate that. Luckily, no penalties for me, which is the correct judgment. Now I've got Basket looking towards the inside, but we're going to close the door, although this final chicane is completely mad. We've got drivers side by side, 2, maybe 3 abreast at times. So we're just going to try to get into the slipstream of these 2 faster cars. I know that this Bentley is faster, and that's what both of these drivers ahead were driving. Cholin running wide, Kung running wide, Sebi running wide, and just letting me know that he's right there. Although we made it through, so we are up into 7th position now. Sebi taking a look on the left side. It's not going to work out. So we're going to maintain 7th for now and keep bringing it around. We are now on lap number 2. Tires are warm, not too worn at this point in time, but they are starting to wear just slightly. So let's see what we can do on this back straight here, and hopefully we don't spin it around into the wall once again. That would be ideal. Typically I prefer not to do that. Gonna enter this first chicane towards the right. There's more cars off. We just pass up. I couldn't see who that was, but they're gone anyways, so no need to worry about it. We carry on, and we've got quite a spread out grid right here. Strangely, the map radar is doing some weird things. It looks like it's there's something going on with the updating. So again, braking on that final shout out and coming in through here, and very, very nice line through that final chicane. Could have carried more speed on the outside. We were a little bit probably overdriving it slightly, but overall I think that was our best run through that chicane. Now I notice here that a bunch of the front drivers have pretty decent penalties. We're coming into this right-hander again, and this time we're keeping it super, super tidy. But yes, we look at number 1, Nullify 6, up by 5.6 seconds in the lead with a 4.5 second penalty. So at this point, I'm thinking that there is potentially an opportunity. It looks like he's fighting with Chilsey, who has no penalties. Good on you, Chilsey. That is some excellent driving. But I'm thinking here that I might still be able to put a good result in. I could potentially get second or even first here, depending on my driving. So we do have a pit stop to make, so I don't know what the other guy's strategies are or how mine will play into that. But it is interesting to see that, you know, if we can pull ourselves into this front pack a bit, then we have a chance to win after penalty times are added to race times. So Once again, focused very, very heavily on making no mistakes here, driving these corners slower just in order to keep on them, because we do not want to spin out, go into the grass, or do anything. We've already had our one shot, and we kind of screwed up with our one mistake here. Now, what was going on there? MGFO spinning out of control. We almost smashed into them, had to take evasive maneuvers, and we're going to jump into the pit. Now, my brain is racing right here. My heart is racing. My mind is going crazy because I don't know what my strategy is. I was on medium tires. They're pretty worn. Do I go for soft? I could probably get 2 laps in, but they're going to be dying at the end. I decided to go with mediums. Of course, we do not need any fuel, so we will skip fuel. Pit crew doing absolutely beautiful work here. 2.7 seconds. I did accidentally run over one of the pit crew's feet, so I apologize for that. Thank you for fixing up my vehicle. And just like that, we're already out. Although, wow, we are down into 14th position. From 3rd position up to 1st position, back down to 14th. That's mad. It's completely mad. So we've really got to start pushing this vehicle now, and I'm trying not to overdrive it, but I'm definitely pushing myself very hard here. Probably a little bit too hard. Anyways, we carry quite a bit of speed going into this back straight. Nullify. Absolutely losing control, spinning out like crazy. That actually maybe gave me PTSD from lap number 1. But I feel your pain, my friend. Unfortunately for you, I'm on brand new tires, so I'm going to keep on chugging ahead, and we're up into 13th position. Going through this chicane. Quite solid line, actually. A little bit slow, but overall quite nice. And goodbye, Gomez MX. I can tell that they are on worn tires, maybe going for no pit stop race. I would not advise that, but it's your life, it's your race. I'm just going to go ahead and take the lead. Now, my braking points are a little bit screwed up here because the cloud coverage has come in a bit, but we actually took that chicane beautifully and go on to pass Basket Bulmer, who was in 11th, but is now in 12th, thanks to me passing him. So, thank you for keeping my seat warm, Basket. I will take that, and let's hopefully grab some more positions here. 90-degree right-hander, going really hot in. But once again, did these guys not change their tires? Mixer, 11th position now. He was close to the front when we started off, but we will happily take that. You can just see as I approach these guys, their tire wear is really coming into play, and we're getting a lot more consistent on these back straights. Taking this corner excellently, taking this left-hander beautifully, and right back on the power. So then we're going to go into this second 90-degree right-hander. Chris Valdez, so unfortunate for the both of us. Rejoined the track, but unfortunately came out of ghost mode when we needed him the most in ghost mode. Luckily, there was no penalty for me, but that was just terribly unfortunate. We were making really good pace. We were making up a lot of time there, but let's continue through this more technical back section or sector of the circuit. We still need to make up quite a few positions. We're still down 7 positions from where we started. We do not need any more pit stops. We did run that left-hander very well over all of those curves. We've got somebody rejoining here, another person off the track. That's 2 more positions up into 8th place. Final chicane. Okay, here we go. Can we make it? Very nicely over those curves. We carried quite a bit of speed. I think that was our best time through that final chicane. Now, somebody was in the pit lane. So that gives us one free position up into 7th. We are running curbs. We're going hot. We are really pushing the vehicle this time. And as you can see, we run off the track. No penalty though, luckily. But I'm really trying to catch up to Sebi up here. And, you know, I'm watching him driving. It looks as though he might have worn tires. So I just need to be consistent here, keep it together, and hopefully, as we've seen many times in this race, something happens, Sebi spins out, or just can't keep the speed through the corners like I can. But we will see what happens here. Trying to catch any slipstream that I can, but I do believe I'm just a little bit too far out. So we're going to come into this right-hander chicane, carrying a ton of speed, going wide, but at this point I care more about the race position than the race time. We did add another half second, which brings us to a 1.8 seconds of penalty. Not ideal. This is the most penalties that I've finished an online race with, but considering the track, I'm okay with it. Now coming into this left-hander, just trying to be very aggressive. We did run once again wide, and you can tell that I am overdriving this vehicle here. We're on our second lap of these tires, so they aren't as grippy as I would like, but you know, we are definitely pushing at this point in the race. It's almost all or nothing. It isn't, but we do really want to try to secure a good position, and we're coming up towards the back half of the circuit, so let's see what we can do. We've got two guys up there. Looks like Sebi and Dubsy. They are going side by side, fighting a bit, which I love to see. Of course, I always love it when the drivers in front of you are fighting. As long as they're far enough up ahead that it's not interrupting your pace. But that's just going to bring those guys closer to me. So let's see what happens. Now we've got MFGO. Okay, yep, good. Oh, my apologies. It wasn't Sebi. It was, it wasn't Dubsy. It was MFGO, and we just passed up Cholin 1, 2, 3. So look at that. We are back into 5th position. It's excellent. So now we're only down 2 positions from race start, which is actually quite good, considering how much time we lost during those multiple instances on the first 1 and 2 laps. And even, I believe we had that one on the 3rd lap. Beautiful corner right there, running out very close to the wall. But we're going to keep it pretty tight around this right-hander, left side, try to cut as much as possible. And again, running over the track limits. And another 0.7. Chilsey finished the race. We're coming into the final chicane. It looked like Kung just gave up on that, but we're right here on the back of Sebi, 4th position. Sebi has 4.7 seconds penalty. And look at that. We finish in 3rd place. No change of position for us, even though we ended up going from 3rd to 1st down to 13th or 14th, back up to 3rd position. Absolutely insane. Very fun race. That was really exciting. And actually, when you look at the best lap, it's kind of hard to tell. I wish that you could organize this by best lap. But I do believe that we got the 2nd fastest lap in this race. So that's actually excellent. That was huge for my confidence. And I felt really good after this, despite those mistakes in a super high-powered class like this, P-class racing. You know, it's very hard to keep it together for 15 minutes without making a single mistake. It's just insane. The slightest movement on your controller or gas or brake, curbs, anything. The slightest thing can completely disrupt your race. And I think overall we got a little bit lucky with some of our racing incidents, but we brought it home. 3rd position. We started in 3rd, finished in third. I'm happy about that. That's a podium finish. So you can sort of see what I was talking about with that consistency. If we had kept it on the track, we could have potentially gotten the second position, maybe not first position. We were off 18 seconds from P1, but we could have potentially had a very, very good race for first or second position. Anyways, we've got the podium here, T30 Drift, let's go. And not Dubsies second, and number one, it's Chilsey, who had an absolutely epic race. I am so sorry for taking you out, Chilsey. Anyways, that was excellent racing. And I do want to thank all of you guys for watching the video. Thanks so much again for your feedback on the previous videos. Again, it's been very, very fun playing this game, recording, and sharing this. So I'm hoping that you are enjoying it as well. I do plan to go back to Forza Horizon 5 fairly soon, so stay tuned for that. Once more, please hit the like button, especially if you got to this part in the video. Then you might as well subscribe. Why not? You watched this much. You're going to watch the next one, and you're going to be happy that you did. And I'm going to be happy that you did. And then I won't have to ram people off the road anymore or go to jail. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I hope that you guys enjoyed the rest of your day. And yeah, thanks so much. I will see you in the next one. T30 out. Peace.